Talk to me a little bit, obviously, about Smash. You're premiering tonight, so you've got to be pretty pumped.
I'm very excited. This day has finally arrived. I kind of feel like it's Christmas morning. I've been waiting all year to open this big present. And I think it's safe to say that everybody in the cast feels the same way. Smash is a television show about the making of a Broadway musical. And so it uses all of the people that are involved in that pursuit, the iconic director, the producer, the writers, the actors. And so you see how the dots are connected in terms of how a show like that is put together. And obviously with a Broadway musical, music is a huge part of what makes this show special. So it's a way of telling the story, but also illuminating what it takes to get into that world of the Broadway musical. But what's interesting for me is that I play a character who is on the outside. I am married to Deborah Messing's character, who everybody remembers and loves from Will and Grace. Mm-hmm. And she's a very successful Broadway writer. And I play her stay-at-home husband who's been raising their son. And I get to be the eyes of the viewer, in a sense, of looking into the world of this Broadway experience and saying, what's going on in there and why are you doing the things that you're doing? And one last thing I'll say about this is that it's a great way of depicting how people balance their professional life and their personal life. Obviously, this is a Broadway-style show, but what's even better about it is that you get to see how these people bring their work home and how they balance their pursuits of their professional life with their personal life, and that's how I come in.
Now, elaborate on this just a bit, because when we watch TV shows about people who work in news, we always make fun of them because we're like, oh, that's not what it's like. You've worked on Broadway. How close a depiction is this to real life?
It's a very accurate depiction. I've spent a good 20 years doing this, and so I'm very happy that they've taken great pains to show the very mechanics of what it takes to watch a show evolve. And that's examples of things like what it's like in the rehearsal room before anyone sees the final result in all its glory and the great production value that everyone associates with a big splashy Broadway musical number. But it has to start somewhere. And so this story does a great job, the show does a great job of depicting all the nuts and bolts that go into it as it evolves into something really special. So they've done a great job of doing that.
And of course, I have to ask you about life here in Saginaw and growing up. I mean, this is obviously Smash is going to be a smash. And to come from Saginaw to there, tell me a little bit about your path.
Well, just as you said, yeah, I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan, and I'm proud to say so. And I go back every year. My mother still lives there. It's near and dear to my heart. And it's fantastic to be talking about this show, not only because it's a great show, but the fact that I'm telling you about it and people that are from my hometown in the Flint area, in the Saginaw area, all across Michigan. I just get a real kick out of that. And it is a kind of a nice full circle moment to realize that, the things that I started doing in Saginaw and in Midland, Michigan, cutting my teeth in the theater there and, in community theater and the like, it really is nice to take a moment and appreciate the things that I got a chance to do as a kid, and my interests that began in my hometown are things that I'm still able to pursue right now, and with a show as wonderful as this. So it's a pretty great moment to be talking to you about it.
Did I read your grandfather was governor here?
That's right. He served 2 terms. He was the governor of Michigan in the early 40s. They called him the war governor. Harry F. Kelly was his name. And yeah, so I have a lot of pride and tie to the state of Michigan. So I'm always happy to be talking about it, and especially talking to you about this.
Tony Award nominee, you had several. I mean, you've had a long and wonderful career already. Where does this rank? I mean, you've worked now with Steven Spielberg. I have to imagine that's a highlight.
It is indeed. It's a new chapter for me. I've done television and film, but only in little surgical strikes here and there. This is my first time doing a consistent series. So it's a new chapter, and the thing that I really love about it is that, like I said, I started doing theater in Frankenmuth, Michigan, at the Gaslight Opera, not too far away from where your viewers might be seeing this. Mm-hmm. And now I get to do this great television show with the likes of Deborah Messing, Angelica Houston, Steven Spielberg, as you mentioned. Not bad company to keep. And it's a new muscle for me to flex. It's a new exercise for me, and I get to learn a whole bunch every single day doing this consistent great work on a fantastic television show. So I would describe it as a new chapter.
And I know you don't have a lot of time, but one of the things I did want to ask you about, I did watch the pilot, and it is phenomenal. There is a storyline, however, for you that involves adoption. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and maybe what we can expect?
Yeah, that's part of the world of watching Deborah's character, Julia, come home and have to, as I mentioned before, balance the professional and the personal life. We are in the throes of pursuing an adoption, and her interest in getting back on board with a new musical gets in the way of that. In the pilot episode, you see us talking about the fact that we had decided that she was going to take some time off so that we could pursue this new chapter in our family. And that very quickly gets upended by her passion for what she does. And consequently, it kind of opens up a can of worms in the sense that Frank, my character, starts considering maybe it's time for him to go back and pursue the things that he loves to do, that of a chemistry teacher, and maybe kind of exploring the things that he's put on the back burner for the last 15 years raising their son. So in that way, you get a real good glimpse into how these people are going to deal with their situation at home, their home life, and then not to give too much away, but there are other things that come down the pike that are even more challenging, shall I say, that we have to deal with to keep our family together.
Excellent. Brian, you know we've spoken with a couple of your friends. Anything you want us to pass on to them?
Well, I would just say that anybody who's in the Saginaw area or the Flint area or anywhere near where I grew up is that it's kind of a remarkable thing to take advantage of the dreams that you're pursuing, and to know that that if you work hard, that maybe you get a chance to kind of get a chance to do what I'm doing right now, which for me is a dream come true. So I just encourage everybody to take advantage of what they have in their communities. If it's in the theater or if it's pursuing something artistic, embrace what people are giving you as opportunities. And if there aren't opportunities, find yourself the opportunities, because a career in the arts can happen.